Hello YouTubers and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter the Master of Puppets. And today guys, we're going to be looking at another beer from Firestone Walker. One of my favorite brewers. I've only had 2 beers from them though, but those 2 beers are some of the best beers I've ever had. This is one of their regular release beers that was sent to me from Mike, so thanks a lot to Mike for the beer. He sent this out to me because he wanted me to try this. This is the Firestone Walker Velvet Merlin Oatmeal Stout. It's our oatmeal stout, one of their staple release beers. It's on 5.5% alcohol, and they also have an edition called Velvet Merkin, which I believe is aged in, what kind of barrel is it? I think oak barrels, something like that. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting trying this oatmeal stout, or one of their regular release beers. Oh, look at that, it's rising. But yeah, Firestone Walker, they make some amazing beers. If you haven't checked out any of their stuff yet, you need to do so. Because they make some really good stuff. And there it is. Cap says that this won a champion mid-size brewery. Oh, that's the brewery, the one that the World Beer Cup in 2010, so that's quite cool. There is a bottling date on here, I think, somewhere. It says the 13th of January 2011, so this is a 1-year-old bottle. That's kind of interesting, especially for a 5.5% beer, so I'll have to take that into consideration. Let's take out the aroma. Yeah, a lot of roast. This is probably the oatmeal stout I've smelled that smells the most of oatmeal. I get a lot of oatmeal in here. It kind of reminds me of the oatmeal crunch squares, the Quaker squares. It kind of has that same sugary oatmeal-like aroma, that cereal. That's kind of strange. And some lots and lots of sweet sugary oatmeal in there. Some little bit of coffee, some roasted malt, a little bit of a burnt note, dark fruits. But wow, there's a lot of oatmeal in the aroma. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. Yeah, the flavor has that oatmeal flavor too. Even though it's 6 months old or 1 year old, you don't really taste it. Or over 1 year old, you don't taste it even for such a small beer. It tastes fine. I wonder if it's got this intense oatmeal character when it's fresh, because I get a lot of like oatmeal, and it really remind me of the Quaker squares, oatmeal squares, which is kind of interesting. The body on it. It's a medium mouthfeel, lightly creamy, which is probably because of the oatmeal. Oatmeal usually gives a nice creamy mouthfeel. Flavoring a lot of roasted malt, little bit of a burnt, kind of charcoaly, almost smokiness to it. I guess the burnt note kind of feels smoky. Some coffee notes. It also has this nice fruitiness to it, like a dark berry, kind of like a dark cherry, but not as sour, and just some dark fruits in general too. It's a pretty tasty oatmeal stout for sure, but it's a session beer kind of. I could easily slug down a few of these. It's not anything big, and it even says limited release. Oh, this is a limited release beer. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I thought it was part of the regular release. It says limited release on here, so that's kind of interesting. It's probably a seasonal then, I'd guess, a winter seasonal. But it's a pretty good oatmeal stout. To be honest, I've had better oatmeal stouts. Like last time I talked about stout, I talked about Mikkel's Big Geek Breakfast. That's got oatmeal and coffee in it too, and I prefer that a little more. This is kind of along the lines of the Mikkeller. What is that? Samuel Smith oatmeal stout. It's kind of along those same lines. Just this has a lot of oatmeal in the flavor. Yeah, but it's still a pretty solid stout. I could easily session this, I think. The roasted flavor isn't too much, and I like that sweet, oatmeal-y, sugary flavor in there. So yeah, it's a pretty good beer from Firestone Walker. Of course, not as amazing and mind-blowing as their limited releases Parabola and Abacus, which is now Sukaba, and their anniversary ales and so forth. But it's really still a really solid oatmeal stout. So rating-wise for the Firestone Walker Velvet Merlin, I'm gonna give it an 80. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in it, to be honest, because I had high expectations because I've had Parabola and 14. But still keeping in mind, it's a regular beer, it's an everyday kind of beer. It's a good beer, a really good beer actually. So yeah, 80 is a pretty good grade too. So yeah guys, that does it for this beer review. Remember to let me know what you think of the Firestone Walker Velvet Merlin if you've had it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter. And I'm going to say cheers guys, and I'm going to see you in another beer review.